to talk about it. Okay, let's just jump right in.
Everything. Because Joe Rogan, we don't have to make videos to pretend anymore. All of this is happening. We're coming to you. I've challenged.
So one of the things you're probably noticing immediately is he doesn't have any strong facial expressions right now. Typically, you think when somebody's angry or challenging somebody to a fight, you're going to see some intensity there. Or if he's performing and playing something up like people oftentimes do online, you're also going to see an exaggeration of emotions. We're not seeing anything like that.
Challenge you man to man to a fight. Honorable. And we don't have to pretend.
You're also probably noticing that his mouth is blue. From my understanding, it's because he takes methylene blue, which is a supplement. Now, the problem with that is that many supplements, when taken in excess, can cause neurotoxic effects. Now, how much he's taking, I have no idea. I'm not saying that's causing his behavior, but one of the concerns is supplements like that, or other ones, if taken incorrectly or taken in too large of a quantity, can cause various behavioral issues.
Pretend or make any videos. The world is watching. They'll make the videos for us. And you don't have to hold a camera. You can hold the hand of somebody that you love, because what happens next to you, you're going to need to remember that feeling. You're going to need something more than what you did.
So saying that Joe Rogan needs to hold the hand of somebody that he loves, that clearly sounds like a threat. But once again, you're not seeing any facial expression. Usually we look at the brow. There's either anger, there's sadness, there's different things that we look for. There's ways that we look when people are trying to calm themselves down. Right now, he's being very plain and seems kind of disconnected in that sense. And that's what's concerning right here, is when you have somebody making statements like this, but there seems to be some sort of odd disconnect between what they're saying and the way they look. That's a concerning thing to me.
To give you something to fight for, because I have my family to fight for. And I'll die for them, you know that.
And then you heard some real emotion come up for a second, saying that his family, you could hear his voice waver a little bit. It almost looked like he was about to well up with tears, although it doesn't look like he quite did. But the idea, he's having these quick waves of emotion. Once again, it's a little bit unusual and it's concerning.
And you're a black belt, but you've never come across something like this. Willing to die, hoping that you'll choke me out. I pray to God, because that's a dream come true.
So you're seeing a rapid fluctuation of behaviors, where on the one hand, he's saying, I want you to choke me out. This would be great. On the other, he's saying that he was ready to die. It's such unusual language, and it's bouncing around to extremes. And once again, when we're looking at the body language, we're still not seeing much. And the flat affect, the lack of visible emotion is always concerning, because that means there's some kind of disconnect between what he's thinking and feeling and what we're seeing.
It feels good. And then the limbs, I'm fighting for my family. So limb.
So you saw him raise his eyebrows when he was talking about his family. Now, what that does is that brings attention to our face. And the reason that that's significant is that means that there's some component of that he really believes. When somebody's talking about their family, that makes things much more intense. So as he's putting all of these things together, we're getting a more and more concerning picture as this unfolds, even though it's only been a few seconds.
Because that's a dream come true. It feels good. And then the limbs, I'm fighting for my family. So limb. Go ahead.
So there's some sort of unusual thought process going on here. There's certain ways that sentences flow. There's certain ways that thoughts tend to flow. And the flow of thoughts here is very odd. But Liver King does strange things all the time, so maybe it doesn't seem as concerning. But the quality of his behavior and the way he's speaking in this seems different than previous videos.
That's this. But then you have to contend with something else. And I weigh 177 pounds. An actual savage. And so at first you're like, yeah.
See, you're seeing this intensity spike, just like when you saw very briefly the tears well up. This is a very unusual display of emotion. There was such intensity as he was saying that. So when we see a loose connection of thoughts on top of emotions like this, that does start to beg the question of whether or not somebody's in some kind of crisis. Because oftentimes when people are, they don't know it. They lose the ability to have insight. So they don't know that they're in crisis, and people around them may not fully understand it either. And maybe he isn't. But the way that he presents seems similar to something like that.
And right when you all of a sudden he did get your attention, which I already did before this, you're saying, I'm going to choke that. I'm going to choke him out. That's what warriors do. You and Andrew Tate are good warriors. But you're actually better than that. Real tension we have. Comedy that you do is good and true. We have real tension.
So him talking about choking out Joe Rogan, Therein lies another part that's very concerning, because obviously you can't just go get in a fight with somebody just because you want to or because you think it would make good content or whatever. He couldn't do that anyway. But when it comes to choking somebody out, that's something that can have absolutely dire consequences if not only it isn't done right, but if it's done too long. There's a whole wide variety of reasons why that is about as concerning as you could possibly get in terms of his train of thought right now.
In you is comedy is good and true. Touch points. Well, people laugh if we don't make fun of them at their expense. They laugh. You should all make fun of me. You should all make fun of me at my expense. Trust me, that it still works, and then you should get paid for it.